Are you like me and grew up attending a church holiday club? As you'll hear from Pam and I as we discuss it, they can be fantastic places for children to meet Jesus and grow in their faith, and to particularly grow as young leaders. Would you love to see your church impact your local community and connect with lots of young families? A holiday club might be an idea to explore, with the added benefits of deepening relationships and potentially working in partnership with other churches in your area. I'm Melanie Cave, Managing Director at Roots, and today I'm talking to Pam Elliot, Roots Senior Editor. We discuss the transformational power of holiday clubs, how to run them well, and whet your appetite with some of Roots' latest holiday club resources, including our 2025 offering called Kingdom Builders, based on the popular games Minecraft, Lego, and Roblox. Check out the show notes to find links to Kingdom Builders and all our holiday clubs. If you're already a Roots subscriber, your subscription includes access to all our holiday clubs. But if you're not yet a subscriber, you can follow the links to buy the holiday clubs as PDF downloads individually. Thanks for joining us on the Roots for Churches podcast. Here we go. Hello, welcome Pam to the Roots for Churches podcast.
Thank you.
Pam is our senior editor responsible for Children and Youth magazine. Can you tell us a bit about your background before you joined Roots, Pam?
Yeah, so I grew up in a fairly lively Baptist church with lots of holiday clubs, and then did a degree in theology and religious studies and became a religious studies teacher. And then later on, as well as doing lots of sort of volunteer roles in churches, I became an education officer at a cathedral and had a lot of experience working with children in all sorts of different situations and families as well. And then I found Roots, and that's where I am now.
Oh, and we are so blessed to have you. You add so much to our team, and your wisdom and insight, and particularly your eye for detail when it comes to illustrations and pictures. You've been fabulous at that. And so today we're talking about holiday clubs. Roots produce a number of holiday clubs, one every year. So our archive has a whole bunch of them that people can look through. But we're going to talk through a few of our recent ones, and especially our most recent launch, which is called Kingdom Builders. So why would somebody want to do a holiday club in their church? And I guess we can look at this personally, because we've been involved in holiday clubs from a number of angles. So you mentioned holiday clubs in your church growing up. What was your experience of attending them?
Well, it was brilliant. I think it probably was part of the formation of my faith. So we had something called Holiday Adventure, and I can still remember the song, which is Adventuring with Jesus. And it was just part of my summer. Every summer, there were loads of crafts, games, activities, something we looked forward to. It was really oversubscribed, really great thing for the community, and I guess for the parents too. But I got a lot out of it personally.
I think holiday clubs, at least when I was growing up, were like part of the regular rhythm of church. I grew up in the States and they call them Vacation Bible Schools.
Oh, wow.
VBS for short. But I know that they happen across the UK in lots of places. Often it's like, as you say, it's like a standard part of the church holiday year. Happen for 1 or 2 weeks in the summer. Sometimes people run them in the half terms. It can be quite a big event. As you say, yours was oversubscribed. You know, I growing up, and mine were like often hundreds of children, you know, quite a lot of volunteers. People took time off work to come and lead these events. It was amazing. So as a child, did you go to this every year? Was there different kind of themes, or did you get involved in leading?
Yeah, it's all of those. Yeah, I went on a yearly basis, and also to the things that were happening in the evenings as well, because we'd often run a youth event in the evenings alongside. As a child, I received, and then as I got older, into my teenage years, I would also sort of help out and then help to lead some of the youth stuff as well. And different things each time. So I can remember pirates quite well. But yeah, lots of different engaging themes to keep everyone interested. How about you?
Yeah, so likewise, I attended from being quite small, and then I remember getting recruited as sort of a junior leader when I was still in sort of upper primary school, that age, getting up on the stage, leading the songs. And then I think as the youth, we were running a lot of the games that were happening outside. We did a lot of that. I remember getting up and doing some of the drama sketches, that kind of stuff. So as you say, it was quite spiritually forming in terms of an opportunity for children to lead other children, but also kind of get up in front of the adults and get alongside, be part of the team. I think that working alongside and serving alongside, not just being a recipient, but being able to give back, was really significant. And probably for me was like sort of an early indication of like leadership in church, that like I can do this and this is being recognized. So probably kept me connected in much longer than, when you outgrow the age of the holiday club. Being able to serve in it is a great way to connect and give back. And have your kids ever gone to a holiday club where you are?
Yes, we're not in such a sort of busy location. It's not so suburban around here. It's a little bit more rural. So it's a different kind of vibe. So not hundreds of children, but we've had some really lovely experiences where churches have come together and run 1 or 2 day holiday clubs, or a week's holiday club we've been to. And during the pandemic also we had an online one, which was really a really nice thing that one of the local churches did, which is great for the kids to keep them connected during that time.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. And then did you do holiday clubs as part of your work at the cathedral?
So as education officer, I ran informal sort of holiday days, a program called Terrific Tuesdays, which was more of a drop-in, so a little bit different to a holiday club in that we didn't know who was coming on a weekly basis, and they would come with their parents. So that was a different strategy, but we've taken some of those things into some of our roots clubs that we've planned anyway, because I think actually part of this is involving the parents in some way if you can. So yeah. Lots of different themes. We did things like Disney and circus, and lots of things that would engage people and make them want to find out more about what was going on. And people would come week after week. They really enjoyed the experience.
So in that sort of setting, it's something to get footfall into the church. It's something to get people across the threshold who normally wouldn't come into church. And as you say, it's more of a drop-in, but the more exciting and engaging it is. So it may not be more of a Bible-based one, but then there'll be a bit of Bible in it, but it's much more theme-based. Whereas a holiday club tends to have, yes, a theme, but is much more overtly Christian in terms of God content.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. So it was definitely stepping stones, but yeah, there would definitely be some Bible and Christian teaching in there. We'd sneak it in.
So why do you think, Pam, that holiday clubs are so effective?
I think they're fun, number one. So I think that's, it's got to be something that interests the children. And I think it's a gentle approach to bringing children into the faith family as a way that they can explore what the Bible has to say. They can have a little bit of experience of what prayer is, of worship. They can find out more about the church community, get to know other children. And then, of course, there's the games and the crafts and the other things that actually just help them to remember the story. There's, make and take. You might think it's just like, oh, what's this sort of paper plate typically? But actually, they've put love and attention into that, and it's about one of the stories or one of the themes can be a really significant way of them taking that faith story home with them and potentially sharing it with their parents who may or may not have a faith as well. So there's quite a lot of impact for something that seems like it's just maybe sort of fun and frivolous. It's actually got some serious intentional. So for me, I think it's missional and intentional. I think doing things that are engaging for kids is definitely the way in.
I think holidays clubs meet a need for communities. So when you've got school-age children, you can't send them back to nursery. It's often expensive to get childcare for working parents. You are navigating, maybe asking grandparents to look after them, or grandparents have got them for a whole week and are thinking, this is a lot. I'd quite like to have a bit of time to myself with them. And so grandparents often can be the ones who bring children to holiday clubs. But it definitely meets a need in the community for engagement. Children can get really bored on their own at home in the holidays if parents are working. Maybe they're working from home. But also there's a lot of poverty, and you will get kids who would normally rely on school lunches for meals. So having a holiday club where they can come and they can get some food and they're in a warm place or in a cool place if it's the summer, just time, interaction with other people, I think it's really, really significant. And I think families really, really value that. And I think the other thing that's really interesting about holiday clubs is that if you think about a Sunday session with your junior church, your Sunday school, you might have 45 minutes with the children, and that's if they come every week. Whereas a holiday club, you've got significantly more time, and contact time means that you can build deeper relationships. So the children build deeper relationships with the leaders, but also with each other, and that has a huge impact on what it's like again when they come on the Sundays after that. They've built deeper relationships. They know more about Jesus. You're getting 3 to 5 more sessions of time with them to teach them about God. And so it can be a real accelerator in their faith formation and just relationship building. And I think that can't be underestimated. In youth work, we talk about taking kids away overnight, sleepovers, that kind of thing. And sometimes that's really hard with younger children, but this is a fantastic opportunity to deepen things both spiritually and relationally. So if someone's thinking, yep, that would be a good thing for us to do. I'd like to run a holiday club in my church, but I am not the key person who runs it every year. This is new to me, or I would feel a little bit out of my depth. Can we sort of between us come up with some things that people need to keep in mind to plan a holiday club and do it well? What would you suggest is something to keep in mind?
Yeah, so I think I just always say start with where you are, what you've got, because you may want to plan something massive, but if you haven't got the people there, then you really need to start small. And I think why we had Terrific Tuesdays at the cathedral was that was the day that all the volunteers could do. When I put the spreadsheet out, they mostly tick Tuesdays, so that was the day that we decided that was the day when we could do the outreach, and that meant that we had something very solid that was weekly, and people kept going back to. So getting your volunteers in place is really key, and not necessarily thinking just about the people that are doing the same old people that do everything, because you might find, because this is a one-off type event, that you might be able to use other people in your congregation who've got all sorts of skills that you perhaps didn't even know about, that might just want to help for a one-off thing and will bring a new dynamic that you hadn't even considered.
Yeah, that's really good. In our town, quite a few of the churches will partner together to put on events like this. So there'll be 3 churches at least who will dip in. And so that might mean that you've got, some part-time children's workers, you've got a bigger pool of volunteers to get volunteers from, and also more children who are connected with churches who can then invite their friends and siblings. So you immediately have this sort of rent a crowd, as it were. You've got an initial group of young people and volunteers, and then that dynamic means that, oh, this is a cool big thing. You've got 40 children instead of 10, and that feels different, and it means you can do different things, and it might mean you get a bit more budget as well. And again, it's planning it together is more fun because you've got another person to bounce ideas off of. And I was recently up in Hexham, and they have been running a holiday club for over 50 years. And it is an amazing town-wide thing where all the churches get involved. They use multiple church venues, and they have leaders from across the churches. And it's been going for so long that pretty much everybody in the town knows about the holiday club. Most of the young people have gone to it at some point. And it has not just done significant stuff in the children and the junior leaders, but in terms of town-wide working together partnership, it's been an incredible catalyst. And now they do Christmas things together and Easter things together. It's just fabulous. So if you're thinking, well, there's only me or a couple of people, we couldn't do this, is there another church in town that could partner with you and lend you some volunteers, maybe lend some space, somebody wants to cook for it, that kind of thing? I think that could be a really positive way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think also timings as part of that is quite important. So thinking about when is going to be the best time to have this, what's going to fit with not only the volunteer availability, but also, what's going to fit with the parents' working day. Is it better to do mornings? Are you going to feed people or are you not? That comes with a whole load of food hygiene and other aspects. But then again, also it could be part of your mission to feed. So that needs weighing up.
So do you think a big hall is essential for running a holiday club, or could you do lots of small rooms or even in the main worship space? Would that work?
I think just assess your space to see how you could use it. So it might be that you have pews that can be moved or chairs. You might not have. Have you got outside space? Have you got gazebos? Have you got a hall? Could you share space? Just seeing what you can use. If you're a few churches together, it might just be that you choose to be at one church that has got the appropriate space for the activities you're hoping to run.
No, that's good. And publicity is important. So in order to really serve the community, where could you publicise this? Could you put a leaflet into school newsletters, or even one that goes out in the school book bags towards the end of term? Or if it's a half-term thing, can it go in the school newsletters? Schools are often, wanting young people to be engaged in things and looked after during the holidays. Do you want to put posters up somewhere in school shop windows or in the church window? So as part of our Roots holiday clubs, we provide invitations and posters, so you can customize them with your dates, and it's got, all the exciting graphics that go with the holiday club. But yeah, where could you put those? Are there friendly shops in your neighborhood that you could put these signs up so that people can come along? I know a church that once runs them near us. They literally stick some leaflets through the doors in the neighborhood saying, do you want to come and join our holiday club? And I don't know how fruitful that is, but it's a way to make people who've moved to the area aware that this is going on. So yeah,
I think the more you can advertise, the greater the message will be. Trying to use computer systems that the schools use, asking if it can be sent out on the parent app if they've got one of those, advertising it on places like Facebook. Also, where are you going to find the parents?
And even if people don't have children that age, seeing that the church is serving the community and running these things, I think is good advertising. It's saying, here's a church that's engaged, that cares about young people and families. That in itself is good. And again, don't just aim for parents. Grandparents can often be key people in the family who are doing childcare. So letting them know and saying, hey, if you've got grandkids who live further away, why not invite them up for the week and then they can be part of this holiday club. I know that the Hexham Holiday Club, they say that grandparents often have their kids up specifically for that week because they think it's so good. And the grandparents get to see them, but also get them to be part of this faith adventure that's going on in their area. So that's a really fun way. It's also worth thinking about safeguarding. So making sure that if you've got all these amazing volunteers, that they're all DBS checked and they've been through your recruitment policy, safe recruitment, and that you've thought about ratios. So are you going to have people book in ahead of time so that you know you've got the right number of people? Do you have parents staying? How does that work safeguarding wise? Obviously follow your policies at your church. And if you're working together across churches, you might have to get your safeguarding officers together to say, how are we going to do this? And who's going to double check that this is all in place?
Don't be afraid to ask for donations. Sometimes we can just give everything away for free as a church, and then that can sometimes be undervalued. So, you don't want to insist on anybody paying, but you could make a suggested donation amount to cover your costs. And some parents would be so happy to pay it because, to be fair, they would be paying £20 or £30 for a day of childcare elsewhere. So, don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah, especially if it covers your food costs or that kind of thing. It can be, or craft costs, it can be a really important aspect. And it also, if people pay for things, it means they turn up. So if they've signed up and paid a bit, they'll regularly come. Whereas if it's free, they're like, oh, I'll see how we feel on the day. So that it can be a way of making sure that the people who've signed up actually do come. Yeah. And it can be, £1 or £2. It doesn't have to be much. So let's talk about some of the Roots holiday clubs. So we've got, as I said, there's tons in the archive that people can look through, but we've got a few that we want to highlight. So the big summer holiday bucket list. Tell me about this holiday club.
So this one came out of, I think, a desire for sunshine. So there's this very sort of bright, impactful sort of bucket. I think it's actually up here. Look, there we go.
Ta-da. Oh, bucket and spade on the seaside. Can't get more summery than that.
So, yeah, the idea with that one was, what do people want to do in their summer holidays, even if they're not going away? What makes up a really fun summer holiday? And we came up with these themes of exploring nature, going on a journey, helping someone, enjoying a picnic, spending time together, and playing sports. And we've tied those to the big picture of the Bible. So we've got the creation story with exploring nature. We've got Moses and the Israelites with going on a journey. Helping someone is about Nehemiah and the slave girl. The picnic, guess what? Feeding the 5,000. Then we've got spending time together is about Jesus's barbecue on the beach, the resurrected Jesus. And then our playing sports is tied to running the race for life in Hebrews. And so there's a biblical element and then lots of crafts and things. And this is the one where, if you're listening earlier, I mentioned about involving the family. So as well as the sort of typical holiday club for children, we've also got ways you can tailor it so that you can invite the community and the families to some of these events. So sort of hoping that they'll work together and enjoy community together.
And that one, because it's 6 different sessions, you could do that, in the 6 weeks of your summer holidays in the UK, people get 6 weeks off school. And so you might want to do that as part of your Sundays, the 6 Sundays of summer. And so you've got 1 session per week, or you could do them, 3 days, or the way Pam's cathedral used to do it, on a Tuesday every week. So they don't have to be a holiday club back to back. Everybody's got a week off work and quite exhausting that way, I think. So, be flexible with these. And we've given you lots to play with so that you've got tons of resource and ideas and you don't have to do all of them. You could pick your favorite ones.
Absolutely.
Another holiday club we've got is called Whiz Bang Wow. What's the idea behind that one?
So that's our science-based holiday club, and we were really lucky to partner with God and the Big Bang, who work with primary schools to engage them with science and faith. And the idea being that obviously primary school children, just like lots of people, have got lots of questions about how these things fit together. And so it was like taking those questions and taking science, which is really engaging, and having some fun while exploring some of the Bible stories.
So there's lots of exciting science experiments. We've got volcanoes exploding, we've got finding fossils and all that. But we're exploring the questions of can science help us to believe in God? can science answer all our questions? Does faith have to be based on evidence? Does science make it hard to believe in God? And does science solve all our problems? And each week there's a science topic that they're looking at, whether it's to do with fossils, whether it's to do with gravity and doing this sort of scientific method, whether it's to do with the COVID vaccine and how that worked, or DNA. There's some meaty scientific topics. And don't panic if you're not a scientist. It's all prepared for you, and there's some coaching in the notes to help you do it. And there's lots of videos that you can show. But you're also looking at scientists who are Christians, who are sharing a bit of their faith. And there's obviously a Bible story with each one. And I think it's a fantastic resource. It's beautiful illustrations and lots of exciting things. So again, what an incredible way to really engage people's questions, to not shy away from those things. And these are some of the topics that young people will be studying in primary school and in early bits of secondary school. So to give a faith angle on it and to say, Christians are not scared of these questions about science. Actually, there's lots of people who are scientists who believe in God, and this is how it intersects. I think it's a really fantastic way of engaging.
Absolutely. And hopefully, those primary age children could go into secondary school more confident about answering those questions and being more certain in their faith, and that faith and science can fit together.
One of the things that we recommend with each of these holiday clubs is having like an evening event or it doesn't have to be an evening. It could be an afternoon or even a Sunday morning event to invite family and parents or grandparents to come and see what they've been doing, and so that their young people can present and say, this is what I've done, whether it's this science experiment or whether it's a play that they've come up with. Why do we offer that with each of these holiday clubs?
Yeah, so it all goes back to making those connections with the family, which is obviously so important in faith formation. So, we don't want to just do this in a vacuum and it to be sort of like this isolated event that has no impact. We'd really like it to see our community transformed and more people knowing about Jesus and coming to faith. So this is about making the connection just in a sort of informal way, and not trying to put any pressure on anybody, but just saying, this is what we did. Isn't this amazing? Let's celebrate what we've done, but also that invitation to, well, actually, we've got this event coming up. Do you know about our next holiday club or our youth group or our whatever is appropriate for the people you've got there, our next special event, and hopefully getting them connected in to the church community.
It's really good. So that can happen as part of the very last session of the holiday club, or it could happen on the following Sunday morning. And it's a great way for the whole church to see, hey, this is what we've been up to this week or over the past few weeks, and meet some of those people. Yeah, or it could be an evening. I know the holiday club in Wrexham does a big award ceremony where they hand out awards for the groups that have won the most prizes. And so some of our holiday clubs very much have that sort of point system, like the new one that we have just released, which is called Kingdom Builders. So tell me the ideas behind Kingdom Builders, Pam.
Yes, we're very excited about this one. So it's like a gaming theme. So we've got Lego, Minecraft, and also Roblox, and we're using those hooks, which obviously a lot of children are very excited about, to hopefully excite them about the stories of Jesus in the Bible.
So if people are listening to this and they're like, oh, but I don't play Minecraft, might have heard of Roblox, I know about Lego, but am I going to be able to run this holiday club, or is it going to be lots of lingo and things that I don't understand? What would you say to people who are a bit concerned about that?
Yeah, we've explained it all, and hopefully in a way that you'll be able to understand. You don't need to do computing in the sessions. If you've got someone that is just really into that and is going to help you, then that's great. But it is a standalone resource that doesn't need loads of technology. But there are also challenges each day. There's 3 full sessions, and those challenges take the learning back home, and so they can use computers at home if you'd like that.
And we've recently released a podcast about Minecraft Church. So if you're thinking that could be something that we're going to look at as a church, or you just want to understand Minecraft more, I would recommend that podcast with Kevin Collier. He's doing some incredible discipleship and faith formation using Minecraft as a medium to help people explore scripture. And of course, we all know Lego is one of those things that is forever a kid favorite, and there's lots of Lego movies and things like that. So it's a theme that young people love, and we're exploring the idea of building the kingdom. So the very first session is about God, the kingdom builder, because he created creation, and that's where we start off with Minecraft, and we're looking at creating worlds and what is it like to be a creator, and how is God like us? How are we like God? What is the world that God has made? So that one's really fun. There's lots of really cool illustrations, and for the various things they can earn kingdom coins, where it's basically like points and some a bit of healthy competition between the groups to see who can be the most engaged and the most up for it. And learning to open scripture. Minecraft has a sword in it that they use to fight the baddies. And with it, we talk about God's word being our sword and helping us as a tool in our lives. So they will learn some scripture, and they will engage with some singing, and obviously lots and lots of fun and games. And then the second day, can you remind me what the second day is about, Pam?
Yes. So we're doing Solomon and the temple building, and that's a great one for using Lego with. And there's also, as well as all the games and crafts, they're each day building up a prayer brick wall as well. So that really feeds into that particular story and the Lego there.
Encountering God in different places, and how, encountering God in the temple, but also how we are temples of the Lord and that we can encounter him. That's really good. And then the next session is all to do with Roblox. Roblox is a platform, so maybe people are less familiar with it. It is so popular. Like Minecraft is like the most popular video game across the board. Like it works across lots of different generations. Roblox is a platform where there's lots of little games within it that use the same sort of figures, and you can play different things to dress to impress. There's various sort of role play games that I know children who are about 8 to 11, my daughter's very into this, love playing these games. So we've explored with the Roblox theme, we're looking at the idea of building your house on the rock, building your house on Jesus, and that parable of whether we build on shifting sands or whether we build on God's word. Okay. So some people might be concerned to think that through this game that we're encouraging more screen time or encouraging children to go and play on these platforms where they might meet unsavory people. So we definitely want to encourage, as churches and as Roots, online safety. And so part of what you might want to offer alongside this holiday club is an opportunity for parents to come and do a workshop on online safety, because I know it is a concern for a lot of parents. And we're not suggesting that you need to be the experts on this. There are a couple of links that we've got to online seminars where you can literally watch the video together and discuss it as parents and as children's workers and say, how can we together help keep children safe? Throughout the resources, we encourage the children to be very mindful, to talk to their parents again about what they're doing when they're gaming. And we've got a take-home sheet that we can give to parents that, again, reminds them about online safety and how they can set good boundaries to keep children safe. But we know that children are engaging with gaming. They love it. Really, really high percentage of children are gaming. And so for us to use those mediums as a hook, as Pam said earlier, as a creative vehicle to help them engage with God. We think that's really important because it's using the tools that they have already, the worlds that they already inhabit, and bringing Jesus into them. And I think that's a really helpful way of discipling.
Absolutely. Just to go back to the cathedral, but we had a window, very modern stained glass windows at the cathedral, and one of them was very blocky. And I used to refer to it as the Minecraft window. To them, because it engaged them, and they suddenly would be like, this is amazing, and they just got it. And actually the jewels were significant, and it all told a story about heaven. But yeah, it's just interesting that if you use things that they're familiar with, how they will just suddenly go, you've got me and I'm into this in a bit more of, it makes it more relevant for them.
Yeah. And that's what Roots wants to do with our resources. We want to be relevant. We want to engage all the senses. We want the children to be authentically there, and we want them to build relationships with each other together is one of our values. So we hope that you really enjoy these holiday clubs and explore them, have a go. We'd love your feedback. Use them flexibly. As we said, you could do them every Sunday. You could do them once a week. You could do them over a week or a half term. But do engage with these resources and have a look and think, what could our church do to serve our community and connect with young people? So we think these are a really rich resource and can serve your community really well. Thanks, Pam. It's been helpful. Roots produce weekly and seasonal materials to help you lead great church. GREAT is an acronym for growing, relevant, engaging, authentic, and together. Alongside our weekly children's and youth sessions, preaching notes, song suggestions, prayers, and intercessions, you can find seasonal resources for worship and outreach in your community. We have holiday clubs, Easter and nativity trails, light parties, school assemblies, topical sessions on angels, Halloween, anxiety, the resurrection, and where the Bible came from, as well as articles, videos, and podcasts to help equip leaders in your church with practical leadership skills. Hot topics like ADHD and autism, and deep dives into theology linked to the Bible readings. To see all Roots has to offer, head to rootsforchurches.com to take out a free trial. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and share it with leaders in your church and network, and leave a review as that helps others find it. Together, we can grow.